Hi everyone, thanks again for joining me today. Today I'm going to be showing you a video comparison on 3 liquid glitter brush pens. These are a brush pen that have either a shimmer or a sparkle inside that you can either use to put as an overlay on top of your colored designs, or create your own sparkled cardstocks, or as well you can actually watercolor with them as well. So the first one I'm going to start off with is by Kuretake Zig, and it's the Wink of Stella Clear Glitter Brush Pen. This one's been on the market for quite a while now. It's very well known in the card making industry as a beautiful shimmer pen, and this was the first one that I actually owned. The second one I'm going to be using is the Spectra Noir Sparkle Glitter Brush Pen in Clear Overlay. That's quite a mouthful. And this was the second one that I owned, and I really like this one as well. And we're just going to be showing you the difference, how this one, the color of the shimmer you get is actually just a slight difference compared to the Wink of Stella. And I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later. And then the third one I own is by Tonic Studios, and it's the Nuvo Aqua Shimmer Glitter Gloss Pen. This is the newest one I own, and this might possibly be my new favorite. This one used to be my favorite for a while, but now this one I think has just come ahead, and I'll talk about why it is my new favorite in just a little bit. So let's get into showing you some swatches and comparing all the different glitter brush pens. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to take a look at the brush tip of the markers. So the Wink of Stella, you can see how they actually all have this bristle tip, this brush, okay? And then the Spectra Noir, same thing, you can see how they have bristles. And the Nuvo by Tonic Studios. And when I compare all 3 tips, the Spectra Noir is definitely the smallest of the tips, and I believe the Nuvo and the Spectra Noir tips are almost the exact same. I think the Nuvo might be a little bit thicker, but the length of the bristles look to be about the exact same. The next thing we're going to be doing is actually doing swatches on some white cardstock and black cardstock, just so you can get a look to see how these swatch out. We'll start with the Wink of Stella pen. Well, you're going to use the white cardstock first. This is a 110-pound Recollections cardstock that I get from my local Michaels. And when you swatch it, it's just beautiful how the shimmer just catches the light. And I'm not sure if you can see it right now, but I will hold this up to my light so you can get a better look at the shimmer. Just absolutely gorgeous. And then the next one we're going to use is the Spectra Noir. And again, I just love painting with these or coloring with these. They're just so beautiful to color with because of that bristle tip, the brush tip. And then the last one is the Nuvo by Tonic Studios. And this is definitely my new favorite. It's just, this shimmer is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So I will hold those up to the light so you can get a better look. So there's the Wink of Stella. Spectra Noir. Let's see if I can catch the light. And there we go. And then the Nuvo. I'm going to zoom in here. There we go. I can get a better look there. Wink of Stella, Spectra Noir, and Nuvo. Now, the one thing I'm noticing right away with the Spectra Noir and the Nuvo, I'm not, yeah, there you can see it. There's a little bit of, it almost looks like pilling of the paper. Because this is not a watercolor cardstock, this is just a regular 110-pound weight cardstock. The cardstock is actually bubbling up a little bit from the liquid, but I'm not really getting any of that from the Wink of Stella, which is really interesting. So there must be a little bit, maybe possibly more water in the Spectra Noir and the Nuvo marker, and maybe this is a little bit more of an alcohol. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know what the liquid content of each marker is. If that's something that you're interested in, please leave a comment below and I can definitely find that out. But I'm noticing that right away that the Spectre Noir and the Nouveau do have a little bit of that pilling. You can see right there how it catches the light. In the Spectre Noir, I'm not seeing any of that. So that's kind of interesting. Now, one of the reasons why the Spectre Noir and now the Nouveau are my new favorite markers compared to the Wink of Stella is you can see the Wink of Stella has almost a gold or champagne tone, which is absolutely beautiful, but I typically go for a more silver look for my my glitter pen when I'm trying to do an overlay of my designs. So that's why I gravitated towards the Spectre Noir. Now the Nouveau actually almost has, I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but it almost has like a rainbow effect to it, where the Spectre Noir is definitely a lot more silver. The Nouveau almost has a little bit of, I can see like a pink or a green shift. So it's just beautiful. And you can see how they just catch the light. They're just gorgeous. So that's what they look like on the white cardstock. So I'm just going to zoom out here a little bit. And now we're going to do the same three on our black cardstock by Recollections. So again, I'll hold these up to the light so you can see the Wink of Stella there. You see how it has that champagne shift? And then the Spectre Noir has a little bit more silver. And then the Nouveau. You can definitely see the difference between the Nouveau and the Spectre Noir on the black cardstock. How the Nouveau just picks up a little bit more other colors than just the silver. So those are the three on black cardstock. So this is the part of the video where I'm actually going to be taking this stamp set from Sunny Studio Stamps. It is the Tropical Paradise stamp set. And I'm going to be using that flamingo image on the bottom of the stamp set to stamp on some Recollections 110-pound cardstock. And I'm going to be using my alcohol ink markers to color in the flamingos, and then I'll go over that alcohol ink with my different sparkle pens. And I'm going to speed up this part of the video, and I've just colored all three of the flamingos the exact same using these alcohol ink markers. I will show you after my coloring is done which markers I all used. And I'm speeding up this part of the video because I'm not the great colorist when it comes to alcohol ink coloring, so I didn't really feel like I needed to show you how I colored each image. But I did color each image the exact same, using the exact same colors. And then once I'm done my coloring, like I said, I'll show you a screenshot of the different colors that I used, just in case you're curious to know what colors I used. So I used IG5, IG8, TN1, TN2, CR2, CR5, and PP6. I'm going to start off coloring the first flamingo with my Wink of Stella glitter brush pen. You can see on top of each flamingo I have labeled them so you know which flamingo is colored with which pen. And then the middle one there I'm coloring with the Spectre Noir glitter brush pen, just making sure that I'm covering the entire area of the stamped image, just so I don't miss any areas. And then the last one I'll color with the Nouveau sparkle pen. And again, I'm just making sure I got everything colored, and so you can get the full image covered in that nice glitter from the pen. So I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to slow it down just so you can see how these sparkle pens catch the light. It's just gorgeous. My lighting isn't the greatest. I did this at the end of the evening, and so my lighting wasn't the best at this time of the day. But you can just see how they just pick up that light so beautifully. And the Wink of Stella, now you can really see that champagne color. You can see how that flamingo has a little bit almost of a warmer toned pink compared to the Spectre Noir and Nouveau flamingo. Those definitely have a cooler toned pink on the coloring. Now I'm going to do this sheet. This is actually some Bristol Smooth cardstock by Strathmore. And I really like to use this cardstock when I am coloring with my Kuretake Zig real brush pens. And I'm just coloring these with the Kuretake Zig real brush pens. And then I'm going over the coloring with these glitter brush pens. And I'm using the glitter brush pens to actually move the marker, almost as if a watercolor. Something that you would do with watercolors and a water brush. So I'm just going over the flamingo, making sure I'm coloring everything. And again, you can see the different pens that I used. I used some pinks and some tan colors and a gray for his beak. And again, I'm just kind of going around the flamingo. I'm not coloring it in completely because when I take the real brush pen, when I take the glitter brush pen, I'll use that to move the color around like you would watercoloring. So I'm going around with the Spectre Noir now, picking up that color. I am noticing with the Spectre Noir, glitter brush pen, it's picking up a lot more of that color than the Wink of Stella did, and I'm having to brush off the excess color on some scrap paper just so I don't move too much of that ink around, so I can get a nice blended watercolor look. And the last one I'll do with the Nouveau. You can see I forgot to do the beak in the middle there, the Spectre Noir one, but I actually end up going back and doing the beak of that middle flamingo. So I'm just adding some darker pink around the edges, just for some layering, and then I'll go in with the Nouveau glitter brush pen, move that color around, and you get a nice shaded effect when using two different colors with those glitter brush pens. So I just wanted to show you how you can use these glitter brush pens to move watercolor ink around just like you would with a water brush. Just make sure you're using either the Bristol Smooth cardstock or a watercolor cardstock. If you try to use these markers on a regular cardstock, the cardstock might tend to pill when moving all that ink around. So you can see how I'm moving the paper in the light, and you can see how the light just catches that sparkle. It's just absolutely beautiful. So this time I'm going to be using distress inks, and I'm actually going to be putting these ink pads direct to my glass mat and then picking up the ink with the sparkle pens to get another type of a watercolored effect. The 4 different distressed inks I'm using are Tattered Rose, Picked Raspberry, Worn Lipstick, and Black Soot. So I'm using the Wink of Stella brush pen to pick up the ink right from my mat and then adding the different colors of pink to create the shading. And then I'll blend those out further with the Spectre Noir ink, the Wink of Stella pen without any color on the pen. And I actually scribble off the pen onto that scrap paper just so I can get the ink to move around a little bit less and have it be a little bit more of a shaded look. And there I'm coloring in the beak with the Black Soot distress ink. So I'm going in again, doing the same technique, picking up the ink off my mat with the marker, this time using the Spectre Noir. Using the different shades of pink to get a nice shaded effect and coloring that in. And I'm using the Tattered Rose and the Worn Lipstick on the legs just to get a little bit of a lighter pink color. And then coloring the beak again with the Black Soot. And then the last one, I will use the Nouveau glitter brush pen to color in my flamingo. Going in with my lightest color first, then going in with my darker color, and then scribbling off the excess to fade in the rest of the color. I had lots of fun coloring this way. This was probably one of my favorite ways of using these pens. Almost feels like a real watercolor technique. I apologize about the light. It was late at night when I did this recording, so it doesn't look as good as it did earlier, but you can still see how the light catches the different sparkle that you're getting from the markers. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rub my finger across each of the different areas, and I'm going to show you if there's any transfer of the glitter onto my finger from the paper. So there's the Wink of Stella. It's kind of hard to see, but there's just a little bit of transfer, not too much. And next I'll do the Spectre Noir. Now it's hard to see in the video, but this one I actually got the most glitter transfer off of the paper onto my finger. And the last one is the Nouveau. The Nouveau also had less sparkle transfer than the Spectre Noir glitter brush pen. It's hard, like I said, it's hard to tell in the video, but the Spectre Noir glitter brush pen had the most transfer of glitter. So my final thoughts on these 3 different sparkle brush pens. The Wink of Stella was definitely the easiest to control of all 3. It had the more ability to get into the smaller areas of the stamped images due to its smaller brush head, and I found that it was the most easy to control. Due to the champagne tone of the glitter, it does tend to change the shift of the color of whatever you colored underneath. Just so keep that in mind. I definitely noticed a more warmer shift of the pink compared to the other 2 markers that I used that had more of a true pink tone compared to the champagne color. And it moves the color a little bit less than the other 2. The Spectre Noir moved the color very easily. It was a little harder to control based on the bigger brush, and I needed to clean my brush quite a bit in between just because it does move that color so much. I was noticing I was getting a lot more blending, if not too much blending, and I needed to clean my brush to be able to remove some of that pink from my brush. The Nouveau glitter brush pen was very easy to move the color as well. I needed to clean my brush a lot, just like with the Spectre Noir. It has the most intense sparkle of all three in my opinion, and the sparkle has a little bit more of a pink to green rainbow shift compared to just the champagne or silver color of the other two. It was definitely the hardest to control, although because the brush is just a little bit thicker, I was having a hard time getting the glitter just on the areas of the stamped image, especially with the legs and the skinnier parts of the stamped image, and I definitely colored outside the lines the most with the Nuvo glitter brush pen. So again, the three different pens are the Kuretake Zig Wink of Stella Clear Glitter Brush Pen, the Spectra Noir Sparkle Glitter Brush Pen in Clear Overlay, and the Tonic Studios Nuvo Aqua Shimmer Glitter Gloss Pen. So again, these are just my opinions on comparing the three different pens. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you like this video of how I do a comparison of products, please let me know, and I will definitely do more videos in the future of comparing different products. Thanks again for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.